Well, it was on this day, it was May 7th, that Germany in 1945 signed the end of the war. But we didn't know about it, and we don't celebrate it until today. In fact, Donald Trump said that we need to start celebrating this as Victory Day. You know, it's VE Day today, the victory in Europe. We had VJ Day, victory in Japan, a few months later. But it was actually yesterday that is the anniversary of victory in Europe. However, what happened was Stalin didn't like the fact that his people weren't there. And so they had the armistice, and they had signed the peace treaty, but Stalin wasn't. Stalin's people weren't there, and they said, we don't accept that, and we need one of our people there. So, no. And so everybody knew that peace was coming the next day. There would be another peace treaty, but no one could announce it. And there was a guy that you've never heard of. And if this doesn't just show you how the more things change, the more everything stays exactly the same. There was a reporter, and he was there at the peace treaty. He saw the peace treaty signed. So he knew exactly what was going on. Well, he phones in to New York, and he dictates, and he says, hey, there is peace. We are out of war. And before he even hangs up the phone, it is already going out to media places all over the world because it's victory. So he's not even finished dictating. Then the line is cut. He's told, you can't say that because Stalin wants to have his people there tomorrow. And he's like, but we do have peace. We're at an armistice now. We have peace. You can't say that. So he was at a crossroads. What do I do? We have peace, and the United States government came to him and said, you can't say anything about it. And he's like, wait, we have a rule here that if it's going to cost people's lives, then I can't say it. That's the deal with the Associated Press. You can tell us it's going to cost lives of our soldiers, and then you can keep it secret. But this is not. This is actually saying there's peace. So you can't tell me not to release that. They went back and forth, and this reporter decided, I'm releasing it. So hours later, he does it again, and he releases it officially and says, peace. Well, when he does it, now the Associated Press won't pick it up. Now nobody else will pick it up. And by the next morning, all of the people that he was working for and working with, all of his friends, he was a huge war correspondent at the time. You don't know his name because of this story, but he was one of the biggest war correspondents of the time. He releases it. By the next morning, all of his colleagues are calling him a traitor. And he's like, guys, I was there. I saw them sign it. All they have to do is affix the signature of the Soviet on there, and it's done. And it's going to be done at 1 p.m. today. I included that in my story, that Stalin wasn't there. He wanted to make sure that his signature was affixed, so it's going to happen tomorrow. But we are actually at peace, and we have been for 24 hours. They all turned on him, and they all called him a traitor. Then the Associated Press blackballs him. He can't find a job. Nobody wants to work with him. One person decides to give him a job, and I think it's in Santa Clara, California. It's a newspaper, small newspaper. This was a very big guy, a huge war correspondent. He gets a job at a local newspaper. There's a statue of him in town now. Under the statue, it just says, the man who gave the world 24 hours of peace. He's in a car crash in like 1963. He dies. After that, and after all of this passes, the Associated Press decides to come out and say, you know what, we were wrong. We were wrong. We shouldn't have handled it. That was a very tough day for all of us, and we handled that incorrectly, and he was actually right. And we're super, super sorry. We'll never do that again. He didn't live to see his name restored. In 2011, he was up for a Pulitzer Prize, but they gave it to somebody else. I don't know who they gave it to, probably somebody, in gender studies. But they don't have a rule about resubmitting him, and hopefully he'll finally get his justice. But as the day is today, VE Day, the recognition, and Donald Trump just said yesterday that America really needs to call this Victory Day, and we need to commemorate it because everybody in Europe commemorates this day. Everybody in Europe is grateful for the United States on this day every year. And we kind of blow past it. And maybe we shouldn't. Because it was on this day that we defeated totalitarianism. We defeated fascism. And we started a war with another version of that, communism. But at least for the day, we had peace. This was the day that famous picture was taken in Times Square with the sailor and the nurse kissing. They didn't know each other. By the way, that now in our National Archives, that picture now has a warning label on it saying how inappropriate it was because they didn't know each other and this was male sexual aggression. But here's the thing. Here's what I just want to leave you with this. I don't know when it'll be. Maybe it'll be in 30 years. Maybe it'll be in 70 years. But all the people, every American, every scholar, everybody who's in the press, they're going to come back and they're going to say, you know what, that was really a mistake when we did all of that. That was really bad and we shouldn't have done that. And it was a really troubled time. We didn't know exactly what we were doing. And you can't blame us now and we'll never do that again. And the cycle will repeat. But at least you know that all of this nonsense is going to be corrected at some point. And your name, my name, might be run through the mud, but it doesn't matter. He didn't do it for the statue. He didn't do it for his name to live on forever. He did it just because it's right, and that's exactly the reason you and I do what we do. Because it's the right thing. It's the right thing for us. It's the right thing for our children. It's the right thing for our families. So while cities are making up new flags because they just want to celebrate the diversity, as people are now fighting for gang members to have to go through court before we can deport them, don't worry. All of this stuff, the truth always prevails. It's just going to take some time. But look at what's happening. It's all coming undone exactly the way these totalitarian regimes, these ideas of progressives, fascists, dictators, they all start out in celebrating the people and everybody's all excited about a new idea, but it's the same old idea that ends up in chains. And then it's revealed and people become sane again. And the world goes back to the way it should be, focused on truth. So, happy VE Day today. You ever sign something without reading the fine print? I mean, we all have terms of service, software agreements, those long contracts you scroll through just to click, I agree. I mean, you have no idea what we're signing every time. Here's the thing. When you sign up with most big cell phone companies, you're agreeing to a whole lot more than service. You're agreeing to let part of your bill go toward political causes that you might completely disagree with. Abortion lobbies, gender theory in schools, leftist advocacy groups. That's in the fine print. You just didn't know it. Patriot Mobile does things differently. They give you a great, affordable coverage on the nation's most reliable networks, but unlike the others, they actually fund causes that you believe in. And they'll tell you up front, so if you don't believe in them, don't sign up with Patriot Mobile. But if you do, why are you still with the other people? Religious freedom to pro-life organizations, first responders, and our veterans. If you're going to pay a phone bill anyway, shouldn't you do it with somebody who stands with you? Switch today. Stop funding the opposition. It's time to do business with people whose values align with your own. So what are you waiting for? Call patriotmobile.com/Beck right now. 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Beck for a free month of service. It's patriotmobile.com/Beck or call 972-PATRIOT. 10 seconds, station ID. Well, hello, Stu.
Glenn,
how are you?
Very well. A nice historical opening to the program
Thank you
today.
very much. By the way, his name, so everybody knows, is Ed Kennedy.
Ed Kennedy, okay.
Ed Kennedy. He said, this is Ed
not
Kennedy.
Ted.
No, not Ted.
No.
I didn't kill anyone. This is Ed Kennedy in Paris. The war is over, and I'm going to dictate. Germany has surrendered unconditionally. That's official. Make the date and get it out. That's what he said. And it was so wrong. We should blackball him for the rest of his life. Isn't it crazy how things just keep repeating?
Yeah. You're more confident, I think, than I am that we're going to be seen as, at least here on Earth, as doing the right thing. I don't know.
We will.
I don't know how long you have to wait for that one. Is it 50 years? Is it 7 years? Is it 5,000 years? Or maybe not at all? Look at Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wasn't accepted for what? Maybe 20 years after his death by the vast majority of people. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if that happens to today's conservatives.
We won't be around to see, but
no. Maybe
I think
someday.
It will. I think it will.
I should say though, I don't care. I don't.
No, I don't do it for this.
I hate the term "the right side of history." It's just that's
history
like
is just history.
History is people judge things all the time. At some point, maybe they will agree. I don't know, but the end of the day is you do the right thing because it's the right thing.
Our job is to bend history towards the truth. That is our job. If you look at a framework and it's just shooting out everywhere, our job, each of us, is to bend it closer to the truth as we possibly can, to get it to follow eternal truths as much as we can. And, here's why it's all going to fall apart. You hear about Walt Disney's company? Sorry, I hate to say that about Walt Disney. It's not his company anymore.
Not at all.
It kind of went awry here recently.
I've noticed.
They threw a big fit about Disney being in Florida because they have the "Don't Say Gay" law, which they don't have, never existed. That's all made up. Mm-hmm. All of it made up. Don't say gay. Okay. So what do? They did everything they could to thwart the government of Florida because they said, which was not true, that they were trying to enact a law that said you can't say gay. Okay. So Disney announced yesterday that they are building a new Disneyland in Abu Dhabi where homosexuality is illegal. It's not "don't say gay," it's "kill the gays." All right, but they don't have any problem with that. I don't. What is the problem with that? I mean, okay, so we stood against Ron DeSantis for something he didn't say, and we stood against that law that wasn't real. But we are going to go do business and bring the happiest place on earth to the saddest place on earth for any homosexual on earth. Well, I shouldn't say that. Iran might be a little worse. but it's the same ideology. So how long does that have to go on before, before you stop having the all over Europe, I saw Free Palestine spray painted on everything. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And then you would see, the gay flags and everything else. And they were always right next to the Free Palestine stuff. And you're like, I don't know if you guys, maybe we should do this in a Sesame Street thing from NPR. One of these things just doesn't belong. You go ahead and march for your gay rights, or march just in solidarity as a group of gay people around Hamas. You're going to be mighty popular. So how long does it take before people are like, this isn't working out well for us? How many gay people is it going to take to work for Disney in Abu Dhabi before they're like, you really shouldn't say you're gay here? Shh, keep that to yourself.
It doesn't seem like the media ever gets upset about that, though.
No, they don't.
There's some level of, it's just kind of okay for people in the Middle East to want to target LGBTQIA2 plus people.
Christians.
Right.
Anybody who thinks differently. Yeah, I mean, it's weird.
It seems like that's just okay there. Unless it's Israel, obviously. If they were to do something like that, which they don't.
They don't.
But if they did, then that would be something that I assume would be horrific and terrible, and it was a genocide or something. But any other country in that region seems to be able to do whatever the hell they want.
So that should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, the sides are so obvious right now. All you need to do is just ask yourself some common sense questions. That's it. Am I with people who say they're for gay rights, but also are standing with people that want to kill gay people in their own country? Might be on the wrong side. Am I somebody who believes in freedom of speech, but I'm pushing to have freedom of speech just contained to what I believe is true? You're on the wrong side. I mean, it's really not hard.
Yeah.
It's just not hard.
And that decision is made whether it's right or wrong. That's the history point I was making earlier. It's like, we've seen a lot of things where, like, I think in our lifetimes, things that we, the Reagan era happens, right? Mm-hmm. I think we all kind of get to a point, it seemed like for a while there, like certain things we agreed on were right about that era and when it went well. And now there's questioning of some of the elements of that era. And it's
maybe. That's good.
Again, some things might be worth questioning, some things might not, right? Mm-hmm. But beyond that, the point is you don't the perception of history changes, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was right or wrong at that time, whether it's right or wrong eternally, that doesn't change. What changes is people's perception of it. Different people get into power. People say, well, wait a minute, actually, this was wrong or whatever. If you try to base your decision-making on what you think will be the approved solution 50 years from now, 70 years from now, 100 years from now, you're not. I don't think you're thinking about it the right way.
Yeah, because look, this is a very good example. The approved solution. They had one in Germany, and they thought it was.
People loved it.
They thought it was going to be the solution for the future.
It was the final one.
Turns out, not so much.
Yeah, no, it was actually a really bad idea. Though I will say, look, here we are. American universities embracing it once again. So you never know if the final solution comes around again. Glenn, you might be on the right side of history after all. That's the wrong way to think about it. This is why we have these. There's a book written a while ago. It's called The Bible. We'll get into it later.
This is Glenn Beck.
I haven't read that.
Yeah, you see these long-term solutions. We'll talk about it later.
Ever notice your dog will eat a dead bird, a sock, a shoe, maybe
pretty
sometimes.
Much anything.
I mean, maybe even a fossilized taco if it was out there. It's probably right by the floorboards of Stu's car, but and then he won't touch his own food. Okay, it's like he signed a contract to annoy you. Here's the truth: you might be onto something. Most dog food is basically nutritional sawdust. It is. It's cooked at very high temperatures until every natural enzyme and probiotic is completely gone. And then it's sprayed with synthetic vitamins and shoveled into a bag that promises real chicken flavor. Your dog knows, not so much. This is not a dog food. This is a nutritional topper that you add to your dog's existing food. And it is full of real, natural ingredients that help with digestion, energy, coat health, joints, and so much more. The boring kibble food starts to look better than the dead bird. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today at roughgreens.com. Use the promo code Beck. They'll send it to you. Just pay for shipping. roughgreens.com/Beck.
Go to glennbeck.com for all your Glenn Beck needs. From news stories you might have missed to content you're going to love. Check it out, glennbeck.com.
Hello and welcome to the program. You know, Stu and I were just talking about being on the right side of history, and you don't know what the right side of history is going to be. You have no idea. I mean, you can guess, but there are people that are guessing, cutting little Johnny's pee-pee off and,
Right.
sewing breasts on him is the right side of history. I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because of eternal truths. And there is, and once you understand that there are certain truths, okay? I mean, let's just boil them down to Mo's 10 big ideas, okay?
Mo?
Yeah, I like to call him Mo.
Mm-hmm.
He went up, let's say he just went up to this hill, and he was like, I got to write 10 things down, but I didn't bring any pencil or paper. And so he starts writing them on these big rock tablets.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, I got 10 of them. I could write more, but it's hard to carve these in stone.
10 will get you there most of the way. 10 will get you there.
Yeah. If we just had Mo's top 10 hits and we lived them,
right.
it makes life so easy. It really does. I remember before I became a Christian and before I really was practicing my faith, I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many rules. So many what? I gotta what? I can't say what? I can't feel what? And you feel like you're overwhelmed with rules. It is the most freeing thing ever.
Well, it takes a lot of the complication out of the decision-making process, that's for sure.
It does. Hey, you want to go out and do? No. Well, what about this? No. She's kind of hot. You could probably sleep. No.
Who's going to know? No.
Yeah, I know, right? No.
I mean, that's at least what you should be trying to do. Right. Not everyone hits that standard, of course.
Hey, maybe we should stand up for yes. Maybe we should help. Yes. Maybe we should exploit. No. I mean, it is so easy.
It takes all the pressure out of you and simplifies everything. You're not making the decision based on.
Of course, religion is for the simple-minded, Stu.
Well, we're all pretty simple-minded. I don't know. But I mean, I think it's like a lot of people wind up, I think there's a lot of this in politics where you're kind of playing this game of like, what will this look like in this amount of time when I'm going to get reelected in 20 years? What's history going to think of me? That's not the right way to make a decision.
Well, I don't mind that you look at it from a historian. I mean, as a, wannabe historian, you look at things in history, and the reason why you're supposed to learn all these things is not for the dates and the names. I don't care about the ocean blue in 1492. That's not the important part of the story, unless you want to realize why those ships were available, because there was also a Jewish extermination done by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella in the same year of 1492, then maybe the date is important because it ties you to other things that seem to repeat all the time. However, I don't care about the dates. I don't care about the names. Take out your pencils, kids. This is going to be on the test. No, don't take out your pencils, kids. It's not going to be on the test. Here's what should be on the test. How did we get here? How did this happen? What were they arguing about? Why did that war happen over there? Is there any parallel from there to now? What were the things that are happening then that are happening now? Is there anything? Were there any warning signs in society that was about to go to hell? That's what the Bible is. The Bible is just a collection of stories of this. Honestly, when you read it, you're like, you're the dumbest people alive. What is wrong with you? 25 pages ago, you were all wiped out for the very same thing. And then people are like, nope, I don't remember that. And you think to yourself, these people are so stupid. It was 3 chapters ago. That's us. That's us. 3 chapters ago, we were fighting World War II. Mm-hmm. With the same exact... No. I'm telling you right now that a man can have a baby. You don't think that happened? Look it up. Look it up. The University of Sexology in Berlin. That's why the book burning happened. Did you know that? That's why homosexuals should be afraid of Nazis and Christians. Because they did this whole crazy, I'm going to sew a uterus into a man. And then I'm going to make all of these documents and these books, and I'm going to write about it, and I'm going to put it into the schools and have it taught to all of the children in Berlin. And the Christians were like, no, we should stop this, and nothing stopped. And so what happens? Somebody always rises to the top like, you know what? Trust me, I'll stop it. And so the Christians went to the Nazis, and they were like, we can control them. I mean, we're just going to use them for this thing. They'll help us get it. And it was the Nazis that went in, and the first books that were burned were all of the books that are in our schools again now. So if you're a homosexual, you have an absolute right, and you have a pretty good reason to distrust the Nazis and to distrust any Christian that is like, you know what, the ends justify the means. I think we need to pair up with these people. No. What does an internal truth tell you? The ends never justify the means. That is the number one thing that Saul Alinsky taught. A book, by the way, dedicated to Satan. What's the biggest thing the ends justify the means. They never do. There's an internal truth. Just live with that one. Just that one. Forget about Mo. Just that one. The ends never justify the means. Which leads you to just do the next right thing. You listen to me every day. Do you know how many people I just want to go off on all the time? I mean, I really wanted to walk into that channel store I told you about yesterday and say, you know, Coco Channel, she was a Nazi. But I didn't. I don't have to do that. Even when you are right in the argument, the next right thing is to not pound people. It's not, because our other eternal truth is treat others like you would have them treat you. I don't want people treating me like that. If I'm wrong, I don't want them to come and pound me and make me into a pariah. I would love for them to come to me and go, hey, Glenn, I know you. I know you're a logical person. I don't think like you do, but I want to just talk to you about how did you get here? Oh, I see. Wow, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know. I see how you're connecting that now. Well, help me out. If I would say to you, no, instead of connecting that, have you thought about connecting it this way? Then I can have a conversation and I can get better. That's what we're supposed to be doing. I have no idea why I'm talking to you about this. This was not on my list of things to say to you today. But maybe somebody needs to hear it. Maybe I need to hear it. Maybe I'm only talking to an audience of one. But the ends never justify the means, and just do the next right thing.
I think it's true, and I think it does apply to our day-to-day politics and life as well. I mean, you think of how far the right and big companies went embracing a lot of the DEI stuff that we've talked about over the years. And it was not a principle of, wait a minute, we're judging people. We shouldn't be judging people by the color of their skin. We all know that's wrong. People abandoned that because they were like, well, look where the things are going. Let's get on the right side of history here. We don't want to be the last one who implements these policies. Correct. We don't want to be the last one out there saying that men can't really be women and women can't really be men.
We don't want to be punished for not putting the black square up.
Right. We want to make sure that Instagram feed is right. Exactly.
Does anything good come from fear? If you are operating in the world of fear, are you going to be doing the next right thing? Are you capable of even seeing what the next right thing is if you just have your head down all the time and just, I don't want to get hit, I don't want to get hit, I don't want to get hit? No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you have talked about, I know this is not the point you're making, but sometimes fears can be very useful when your building's on fire. That's the bit. We talked about this book last week or the week before, Thinking Fast and Slow, right? Yeah. Your brain works in two different ways. There's those fast decisions that you're making. Those are the instincts, the fight or flight, right? Those things are important to people. If you exist in that world all the time and you don't embrace the other side of your brain that's thinking slowly, methodically, logically,
you're nothing more than an animal.
Yeah. Yes.
And animals eat their young. I just want to throw that one out there. I mean, here's you want to talk about just do the next right thing? Let me play cut one. This is Pam Bondi about the Epstein case. Listen to this.
Yeah, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Okay. So, in today's world, well, no, that's just man-boy love. That's just, what do they call that now? What is it? It was man-boy love. Now it's...
yeah, there's a weird term for it now.
Youthful attracted adults or something like that.
MAPS, right?
MAPS, minor attracted persons. Yeah, MAPS. What a bunch of bullcrap. If that isn't, let me think my way through this so I can touch little children. I mean, please.
And if that turns out to be the right side of history, I don't want to be on it.
Yeah.
You make that decision based on other things.
Yeah. It's always wrong. And, I'm not going to judge you. Well, I might judge you, but I
should judge that one, I feel like. Yeah,
I'm going to judge you on that one, but I'm not the final say on that one. There's another judge coming, at some point, and there was something about a millstone, but that's different. I just want to bring it back to Pam Bondi here. Pam Bondi, I think, and this was the benefit of the doubt I gave her, and this shows me that maybe this is why they didn't release the Epstein files, because they are building cases. Now, if you're building a case against Epstein, is that the next right thing? She is saying that they are reviewing tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children. Now, I don't think he was with tens of thousands of... I didn't hear the word perpetrator come from her. I heard the word victims. I heard her say tens of thousands of videos. I heard her use the words child porn, and I heard her use the word Epstein. I did not hear the words that had anything to do with others involved. And that's the next right thing. The next right thing is we're going through these because we want to protect all of the kids that were, abused. But the best way to protect them is A, not release their faces and their identity, but also there were other people in those videos abusing those kids or taking the videos. And the FBI is currently building cases against those tens of thousands of people. That's what has to happen. And I'm waiting because That's the right side of history. And I'm waiting for that to actually happen, because when that happens, your trust in our system will grow just a little bit. Our system needs to replant seeds in good, fertile, tilled soil that says, nope, this is a good seed now, justice, and plant it again. And over time, that will grow. And that's how we restore our nation. You tell you about Z Factor. According to legend, there is a secret council of immortal beings that meet once a millennium who make a single universal decision. And that decision is, who will be the most exhausted human on Earth? Right? And this year they picked you. Unfortunately, I don't know. If you're sleeping like a crook, hiding from justice, you flip your pillow 16 times, you try that thing where you count breaths until you ascend to a higher plane of Zen, or that never really. How about the sound machine that brings rainfall on a tin roof? No, it just makes me want to pee, but thank you. Here's the problem. You're not bad at sleeping. Your body is bad at getting ready to sleep, and that's where Z Factor comes in. It's a natural sleep supplement that helps calm your mind, quiet your nervous system, and shift your body into actual sleep mode. Z Factor is not going to knock you out like a sedative. It coaches your body. It helps your body to fall asleep the way it's supposed to. So you wake up refreshed, not like you just escaped some medieval curse. First-time Z Factor buyers, you're going to get a 46% savings. Order now, $19.95 for a 30-day supply, relieffactor.com, 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF.
More Glenn Beck coming up next.
You work hard to build a future for your family. You save, you invest, you plan. But what if the money that you're setting aside for your future is actually fighting against everything you believe in? We were just talking about this. And the truth is, Americans have no idea where their investments are going. If you've got a 401k, an IRA, a college fund, chances are it's kind of being funneled into some corporation that is actively promoting policies and causes you oppose.
Because I'm an investor unknowingly into Pornhub.
Yeah, that might be a good example. You might want to look into that one a little bit. It's kind of like planting a garden and then paying someone to salt the soil. That's not what you want to do, right? Constitution Wealth exists to fix that problem. They're a faith-driven, biblically responsible investment firm that helps you align your money with your values. That should be a basic concept, but we don't think about it all that often. You're not just investing in a return, right? Like, you want more than that. You're investing with intention. And the best part is they don't ask you to sacrifice performance to stand on principle. You still need to make money. You still need to retire. But you can do both, because wisdom, discernment, and sound financial strategy shouldn't be at odds with your convictions. When you partner with Constitution Wealth, you're taking back control. I think you're really going to like these people. You're building a financial future that's rooted in the truth and not buried in a bunch of ESG nonsense. It's your money. It's your legacy. Shouldn't it reflect your values? Take action now. It's constitutionwealth.com/blaze. Check it out. Get a free consultation today. You were talking about Disney a little earlier and how obviously they kind of have abandoned everything that Walt stood for. Every single thing?
No, Walt believed in feet.
He did believe it. He had a couple of them.
Their characters still have feet.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
In most circumstances, they do.
Okay.
But have you seen this Nate Bargatze?
Yeah.
We've been talking about this a little bit. There's a story out about this today. And I really like it. The
comedian, by the way, is very funny.
Very funny. But he's talking about this, and he basically kind of hits themes that it sounds like you could come out of your mouth. But he's basically saying, like, Disney's like, there's this company now, and they run by a businessman. They don't care about their customers anymore.
No, they don't.
And like, there could be a balance between, sometimes you have that, I don't know, snobby sort of entertainment. He mentioned Succession in there, but you also need like the King of Queens. You need shows that people actually just enjoy. And maybe instead of doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the customer, for the people coming and paying for the tickets.
For a cause, your cause is the customer, the person that is listening, the person that is watching.
Beck.